Thanks for waking up.
And the crowd is booing. The crowd is upset. They are now littering the ice with garbage.
All right, we're coming back.
Yeah, you'll
Boys are back in town. You're listening to Raw Mike Richards, brought to you by Bell Lifestyle Products on Newstalk Saga 960. And now, from the Bell Lifestyle Studio, here's Mike and Dave.
8:13 News Talk Saga 960 Raw. Mike Richards, as you just heard from the Bell Lifestyle Studios, as we are sponsored by Bell Lifestyle Products. And of the products that we've talked about so far, mostly, as we know, there's issues that men have. It's one of the reasons why the sponsorship makes all the sense in the world for us, looking at our demographics. The age also of the hosts. We've talked about Infomex. We've talked about a lot of the joint relief, a lot of it based in that shark cartilage technology, if you want to call it that the company really has based itself on for a very long period of time. The results that I've had are kind of remarkable. So people just asking, where can they get it? How do they get it? And look, they have many, many products. If you go to belllifestyleproducts.ca, you find all these, literally these natural health products, these remedies that, again, when it comes to joints, muscle issues, there's so many things to talk about. Gout is a big one. But the one thing eventually we're really going to concentrate on is prostate. It is of a serious nature, and it's one that probably is more, unfortunately, maybe widespread than we would like to admit. I think that when we're younger, I'll be honest, the things that we get talked to about in school, the things that we understand and I'm talking about the men here, if I can for a moment, we don't really get taught a whole bunch about issues like prostate. We hear about it. We think we know what it is. Maybe you had a grandfather, a father, an uncle, maybe those issues. But for the most part, I think there, and I'll be honest, a lot of ignorance about it, just not really quite knowing what it is and what you do about it. Now, Bal Chhoker is in with us here this morning. He is basically, I don't know if I call you a consultant, but it's education. It's about what some of these health products can do, and he joins us here this morning through this sleet and the rain, but you're saying mostly rain.
It's rain now,
yes.
Exactly. And by the way, they haven't heard you about cleaning up the street. Our street coming into here, they haven't heard you yet.
No.
It's still like that. So
what's the matter with these people?
Don't know, man.
Do they have windows? It's Canada. It's February.
They're just hoping the rain takes care of everything right now. So I think you're okay.
Look at that. Bal is right on it. Bell for Bell.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
Nice to be here, guys. Thank you.
Well, we really appreciate it because, I think sometimes, and I'll be honest, so let's say it'd be over the weekend and couples are getting together and it's a dinner party. If I start talking about prostate and issues of prostate, we're all just kind of guessing here. We're kind of lobbing them in a little bit. We really don't know, I think, unless someone of your family has been affected by it. We hear it. We know that it affects, a percentage, a large percentage?
A large percentage of the country, for men, it's like that. And I'm surprised that anybody really talks about it. At their dinner parties or anything like that, it's tough.
Well,
most people are afraid to.
You'd be amazed what gets talked about at my dinner parties.
That's pretty good then,
it hurts the buffet table sometimes, I got to be honest. But so if we start, even the word prostate, so what are we talking about for those listening? They're going, okay, just tell me what we're talking about here. What is it?
So this is a male organ, that's responsible for actually many things and a lot of hormone production. That's actually our biggest thing. And men, just like women, have a lot of hormones, and they're all connected, and the prostate is responsible for supporting the testosterone production in our body, and that's our anabolic. That's our building hormone in our body. All right? So as we age, though, that prostate, which is sitting just below the bladder, and this is where we get these issues now, right? It sits just below the bladder, and it actually the urethra, which is our little tube going out from the bladder, it goes right through the prostate. All right. And now if you picture that physiology, all right, and that anatomy, then you can see why we're going to have some problems. All right. We're talking about something here. And, there's two concerns with the prostate. There is one where there's just a simple enlargement. And then the more serious, of course, is the cancer. All right. We're going to talk about the enlargement. Cancer is a whole issue in itself, and it does affect a lot of people. And in fact, it's actually pretty high, if I'm not mistaken. What is it? 1 in about 7 or 8 men. Normally,
that's
Canada.
extremely high.
All right,
Massive numbers.
I got this. Yeah, it's for men. It's a pretty. I think it's number 2 when it comes to cancer. All right, so you have to be concerned about that. But let's talk about what we deal with, which is practically about 50% of the men once they hit about 60, 70, and higher numbers as you go older. And they say almost every man will be affected by the prostate when it comes to urination.
Right.
By the time they're about 80 or so.
Wow.
All right. So it affects every single one of us. We're all sitting here in the studio.
Yep.
I may look like I'm the older one. I'm not, but at the moment,
You look way older.
I don't look bad for 70.
Okay.
All right.
You look great for 70.
But luckily, I haven't been inflicted with this yet. Let's put it that way. All right. But you know what? The stats are unfortunately not in one of our favor right now.
Right.
Right.
All right. The 4 of us sitting at this table right now, stats are not in our favor.
Okay, so first step, you obviously consult your doctor. There's testing for this, I'm
Yes, there
assuming.
is, yeah.
How does that work exactly, Bal?
Well, the simplest test really is what nobody likes. It's actually the finger, the digital test, they like to say.
Yeah.
You know what? And it's something that you should get done. Once you're over once you're 50, the doctors normally start to do this on an annual physical, and you should get it done. You know what? It's uncomfortable for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
All right. But it's well worth it because they do that to test for the enlargement, the BPH that we talk about here.
Right.
All right. And they also want to know if it's, and just so you know, let's go normal prostate. It's about the size of a walnut. All right. Smooth, nothing to worry about when they actually feel this. But they will know if it's larger, okay? If it's larger than that, then we know we're getting BPH or benign prostatic hyperplasia, which is just enlargement of the cells, all right? But it's smooth. That's fine. The other thing they're looking for on the digital exam is if it's actually hard and if it's irregular shaped, if it's not smooth. That's actually to them indicating a greater cancer risk. So now they're going to send you for more testing.
Gotcha.
All right? If it's smooth and enlarged, BPH, then that's when they start talking about, depending on the symptoms, what kind of medication you can go on.
Right.
All right. Whether it's an more like a relaxant, whether it is an anti-inflammatory, whether it's a diuretic. You'll go through that with the doctor to see if you need to go on it. Just depends on your symptoms.
Well, and as for full transparency, and as people know who followed the show for years, I had an issue with rectal cancer. So the thing that was very stupid of me is that there was an incident of that in my family. My dad had a prostate issue, as a lot of dads do. And I still hadn't got checked.
Okay.
I must have left it to. I'll be honest. If I always thought it was stage 2 that they had discovered, it was stage 3 that I had. But it was just finally. I mean, if I had waited
Just
much
on the
longer,
edge.
I maybe I'm not here. And it's what a lot of guys do because they just are uncomfortable with the thought of fingers or people putting stuff up there. It's going to save your life. Like we're talking about, being here or not being here. It's a pretty bad reason because guys just, for whatever reason, women I find it very good. They got to get something checked out. The women do it. Guys, not so much.
No, absolutely not. And my background of naturopathic medicine, even I've studied it, but I do not practice. I actually do teaching at the Institute of Holistic Nutrition and a course on supplementation too. And whenever I talk to people, I always tell them there's a reason to go to your doctor, and that's once a year. I don't care if you do it around your birthday, if that's what makes it easy for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go get an annual. Go get an annual physical done and get your blood work done. And it basically gives you a reference range of where you are and if there are any changes as you go along. And if I'm not mistaken, you said that you hardly ever went to a doctor.
Never.
All right.
Never.
And then all of a sudden this crept up on you, right? And these things happen. But if you, at least you're ahead of the game if you are getting that physical done. So, what is it? I think it's September is prostate. Is it? Yeah, September is prostate health month, right? Everybody should make at least be aware to go to the doctor and get this checked out. it's the smartest thing anyone can do. The worst thing that's going to happen is 5 minutes of discomfort.
Yep.
But everything is normal.
No kidding.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
that's really it.
It's small. Now, now, how long is Bal going to stay
He's
with
staying
us?
with us till 9 o'clock.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Because
Yeah,
it's-
we got
Traffic's
lots
over
to-
at that time, so I can go home. No, get back from Mississauga, no big deal. I'm good with that.
And plus, he gave us our traffic update personally about 10 minutes ago, which I'm going to take advantage of in a couple minutes.
guy comes in, he's working now.
Yeah.
What is that
that's
all
it.
about?
I know.
There'll be a lot of questions, and I know as people are listening here this morning, streaming, watching live on Twitch TV, where we'll want to get to, as you mentioned, some of the symptoms and
Yes.
exactly what the Bal Health product
Yes.
is about, because we're going to do a lot with this, because I think of all those ailments and all those remedies and natural healthcare products that Bal has, because I got a lot of them. They're all very, very good. But we're probably going to focus at some point a lot on prostate, simply because, when you hear odds of 1 in 8, basically any gathering you get with your buddies or pal, there's 1 or 2 of the guys maybe are getting it.
And it should be an open conversation.
It should
really,
be.
it should be.
But it
You know,
never
almost- no.
is.
Yeah,
It
everybody
never is.
shies away. Anything that's a sexual health thing that's actually a problem, everybody shies away from.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's a conquest, it's a different story.
Yeah, way different story. It's tough to tie the two in too. It's,
Yeah, exactly.
it's a weird story, but we'll do our best. Now look, so we'll stop down. We'll do a little traffic here, as it is a very slow day. But kind of, if you're listening, you're going a little slower in traffic. This is something you really need to listen to. And as Bal said, that at some point, you get to your 70s and 80s, and right now, a lot of people that their life expectancy is that. Now we're talking that it is going to come down that road one way or the other. You're going to have to deal with it. So our issue today, and hopefully how we can help, and how Bal Health Products has something for you, that's what we're going to discuss over the next hour. And if you do have a question, you know how to get a hold of us.
We're very interactive on Twitter, Twitch as well. Send us your questions. We'll pass it on. We'll discuss. Everything's on the table, as it should be, when discussing any sort of topic like this.
At Raw Mike Richards is my Twitter handle. At David Bastel. Very easy to do if you got a question, or for those watching on Twitch, if you do have a question, certainly send it in. Bal's here for us for the next half hour
And
or
we
so.
welcome Doug Carey to the studio as well.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
Oh, the microphone's on all of a sudden. Help yourself.
Marketing,
traffic?
marketing director
I
at
can do
Bal
the
Lifestyle
traffic. Let me tell
Products.
you, I can do the traffic.
It's always good to, you know what? I'm going to hand it off to him right now. We'll put him on the spot.
Pretty good. Rain is what I'm understanding, Bal said.
Yeah,
Rain.
rain is what I'm getting right now as far as our traffic and weather spotters. The snow has turned into rain here in the greater Mississauga, Etobicoke area this morning. We'll tell you more about that in a bit. First off, we are getting a little bit of delays across the QEW, especially when you get into the Mississauga portion of your commute. We are looking at third line in the QEW, fourth line in the QEW, some slowdowns as you make your way into the city itself. We are looking at Erin Mills Parkway and the 403, very, very busy at this time. Also, just getting this notification here, Mavis Road on the 403, an accident has just been cleared. This was basically a stall on the side of the road. They moved it out of the way, and now it is out of range. 401 both directions, pretty heavy traffic, getting one notification here for Ontario, all the way through Mavis Road, moving west. Eastwise, we're looking at Kennedy Road, Tompkin Road, 410 Brampton moving slowly as well. It is a slow go throughout. If it isn't parking lot slow, it is very residential-like speeds on the roads this morning. As we mentioned earlier, the snow has turned into rain, which is not very good. Could be freezing rain by the mid-morning, plus 1 degree Celsius, feeling like -4. Our daytime high expected to hit around 5 degrees Celsius in the early afternoon, mainly cloudy throughout. It's going to be an overcast day for the most part. Good temperatures, but man, we got a lot of overnight snow, and now it's getting a lot worse. So hopefully, if you don't have to travel, don't travel today. And if you do, travel safely.
Checking the Lakeshore West out of Hamilton, Niagara, they did have some issues. It has slowly filtered its way into our area, into Mississauga. We have some more updates, and they are as follow. The 808 Union Station to Mimico is a 7-minute delay, but the train is moving. And the westbound Union Station to Aldershot, the 813, is a 6-minute delay, but the train is moving. You have questions for Bal as we are talking about? Prostate. Send them in. We got a couple questions already. If you want to do that this morning, that is what we're talking about, courtesy of our great friends at Bal Lifestyle Products. It is 8:28 on News Talk Saga 960.
Your favorite morning show has a new home. Mike Richards and David Bastel, 6 to 9 weekdays on News Talk Saga 960. Brought to you by Bal Lifestyle Products.
Okay, question. Is Doug supposed to be on too? Do I have to adjust my graphics on my screen?
The
Okay.
note from Bradford.
Oh.
I got stuck behind 2 accidents in a stalled car. Sweating all the way going, I'm not going to make it.
You know what? It's weird because on Sunday night I didn't check the temperature and the forecast for today. And when you in our house when you walk out of our bedrooms, because I have the girls on either side of us, right? 3-bedroom bungalow, and you walk out, everything was bright. So I'm like, oh shit.
Yes, exactly. We got
We got snow. It's like, oh no, how much was it? You know, and it's like
it was thick,
It
heavy,
was.
man.
Very
You know,
heavy,
trying to
yeah.
clean that off the car.
yeah.
Yeah. What bugs me is people who don't even bother cleaning the top of their car.
Oh, I know.
Or
Especially
filling
when-
up their tank on a day like this. There's a car in Weston Road just
Stalled.
parked.
Really.
Not even there. They left. They just left it right in the middle of the
Called
road.
it a day.
Just done.
We're done. Good night, everyone.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's brutal. So, yeah, when you're going down the 401, even at 5 o'clock this morning, it felt like it was like 8 o'clock. It was so
Slow.
congested.
Yeah.
It was so congested. And then when the plows go on the highways as
Oh,
well,
yeah, it's even worse.
they
Slows
sometimes go
everything down.
2 or 3 in a row.
Well, that's it.
And
Exactly.
it's
Well, that's
like
how normally how it is.
You're
So.
going their speed, right?
Yeah.
For the whole trip.
Yeah.
Are we showing a product on camera?
Do you got a product? I don't have any product, dude.
I was going to bring the product, but I figured since
Okay.
we're on radio, I can pull it up on the laptop. But
No, that's okay. I can. No. I just wondered if we had to show something. So if we don't, that's fine. That's fine. Here's. Okay, I'll get that question.
I was going to bring it too.
Should be in your car.
It's in my house. I meant to put it in the car. I did the same thing. Looked outside, went, oh, it's going to take forever.
Yeah, when I first got up, I'm like, okay, this ought to be a good one. But you know what? It was just slow.
It was slow.
As long as I can see asphalt, that's a very good sign for me.
Yeah. Now you can. Luckily, it's just the rain is slowing things down. That's it. So.
I can take slow. It's just, see, when we started a year ago and the original studios in Port Credit, there was a snowstorm in the latter part of January into February that
Getting
was
a poor credit cheese.
just brutal. And so you couldn't see the road. Everything was like, white.
Yeah.
And when I'm now driving a little car because of the distance, just because of gas, like I always had pickup trucks.
Yeah.
It costs me $1 million a month if I had a pickup truck right now. So I have this little car, and
It's harder, man.
not enjoying the snow so much. Really not enjoying.
I'm
the
driving
snow.
my kid's car right now, the Volvo, and it's a small one. And because my other kid's he's gone to Quarthus with Reading Week for university.
Yep.
So he's got my big SUV. Oh, God.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is?
Yeah, I know. It's like you look at, and the night beforehand, I'm like, all of a sudden I get these beads of sweat. What do you mean it's gonna? What kind of snow? Well, how much snow is it?
Believe it on your street, to your point, I'm doing, Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
Coming in, trying to, whip around the corner.
Tokyo Drift, where the Southern kid falls in love with the Japanese girl, and they had the bad Japanese guy. And did that win?
20 seconds.
That win the Academy Award? I can't remember. Was that up for?
Pretty sure.
Oh boy.
Okay.
How long? Oh, okay. 3 seconds.
News Talk Saga 960 is the new home for Raw Mike Richards. Brought to you by Bal Lifestyle Products. Also streaming live on saga960.ca. And now, from the Bal Lifestyle Studio, here's Mike and Dave.
8:32, News Talk Saga 960 Raw. Mike Richards, Bal Chhoker in studio, helping us with Bal Lifestyle Products as the topic this morning. Prostate, just sort of recognizing exactly what it is and what we can do. And again, this is not talking a cure for cancer, just so we're clear on that. Sometimes it gets a little little sensitive when you get into those topics. People sort of take it out of context or misunderstand exactly what it is that we're talking about. These are natural healthcare products that can alleviate some of these things, certainly earlier on. So it is basically the right thing to do. And so, Bal, once again, thanks for coming in. And maybe you could explain what it is when it comes to these natural healthcare products, exactly what we're saying it can do for you.
Okay, so, Health Canada, there's actually a registry of natural health products, okay? And to actually sell anything retail-wise in Canada, there has to be an NPN number on that thing. And there's some people that, back there was that didn't have an NPN. There's people who sell multi-level marketing stuff that doesn't need an NPN. They can make ridiculous claims because it's person to person. But if you want to do it right, and, Bal Lifestyle Products is that, and along with the other suppliers that you find in health food stores, these products are regulated. And to have an NPN number, you actually have to go through this rigorous Health Canada paperwork that has to be done. And they look at the research, the evidence that's out there for the ingredients that are in there to be able to put particular health claims on these.
Like, it's very, very, as you said, it's rigid. It's very strict.
It's rigid. It is. And then you got the whole quality of the ingredients that's involved, and how the companies really pay a good premium. They watch out for what they're putting into this, because you can do testing at any point, and that whatever you claim to be on the label has to be there 4 or 5 years down the road. All right? So up to that expiry date, it has to be valid to that. So we're talking some really good stuff. Now, the medical system has their whole studies that we can talk about, good or bad. Okay, I'm on the, there's different ways that studies can be done. And, there's a claim to those that it will do something for a certain amount of population at a certain thing. And these have what Health Canada will allow us to put on particular claims for the ingredients that are in there. All right. So you're going to find some really valid stuff on those products that are out there. Just make sure you're looking for the NPN number, all right, for that purpose. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to prostate, what particular Bal product are we talking about?
So it's the Prostate Easy Flow Tea from Bal Lifestyle Products. This is a bulk tea. All right. This is to help with the common symptoms that you would have with BPH, all right, the enlarged prostate. And those symptoms being... Let's talk about those, because that's actually the important thing. How do you know you actually have a problem? All right.
Okay, so do you want to... let's stop down briefly on that. See, that's what they do in radio.
Boy, good tease.
More.
Yeah, absolutely.
The rest of the story after traffic.
Okay.
See, Bal, you're learning things as well. We learn things, you learn things.
Well, trust me, this guy could run the station.
I thought
who are we kidding right now?
I thought eating these Star Wars candies would help. I'm understanding.
Is that part of your research as well? Mike's been handing it out today, so I'm just wondering how that...
Is it Halloween? You talking 4 months old here?
No, Valentine's. Yeah. And you know what, Bal? How sad you didn't know, which tells me a little cold on the weekend.
I was in Ottawa when I got the phone call.
Yeah, and as we know, there's no love in Ottawa. There's no love in Ottawa. We'll come back with Bal and answer those. What are we looking for when we talk about prostate and why you need the product? We'll do that next.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, guys. Here's what we're looking at so far this morning in the Oakville area. I told you about this a little bit earlier on. I continue to say this. Burloak Drive has a major slowdowns. We're going to take this all the way through to 4th Line, even Dorval Drive, as you make your way into the Mississauga portion of your commute this morning. Heavy traffic throughout the QEW. Southtown Road reporting some difficulties. Here, Ontario, a little bit of a build-up, and what I mean by that is a massive build-up as you make your way onto the Queensway this morning, also the Gardiner Expressway. On the other side of things, on the 403, Erin Mills Parkway has some slowdowns as you make your way up through to the 401. I am seeing a little bit of a delay Matheson Boulevard East, and once it hits that intersection of 403, 401, and 410, you instantly see standstill traffic throughout that area. Kennedy Road, Tompkin Road, and the 401 this hour. Not really much of a surprise. The snow has turned into rain, which makes it a lot worse this morning. Light rain here in the Mississauga region, +1 feels like -4. Daytime high expected to be around +5, and the rain expected to continue for most of the morning. Not sure if it'll taper off a little bit, looks like, in the afternoon, but we'll have to see. But that's where it gets a little bit messy. The overnight snow plus the rain, not a very good combination for driving conditions throughout the GTA.
Checking the Lakeshore West, the 734 westbound Union Station to Appleby is a 29-minute delay, and the train is stopped. So you're going to see some of these issues here this morning. The 813 westbound Union Station to Aldershot is a 7-minute delay, and the 828 westbound Union Station to Mimico is a 7-minute delay. So we do have some slowdowns, but nothing major so far in Mississauga going into the city. Actually, right now, still looking pretty good. We'll talk more about prostate symptoms and what you can do with our good friends at Bal Lifestyle Products. It is 8:38 on News Talk Saga 960.
Hang on. There'll be more gambling, booze, and meat talk, sprinkled in with sarcasm, condescension, and insults. This is Raw Mike Richards, brought to you by Bal Lifestyle Products.
I'm not a big fan of the large fish that we look at because you need higher dosages. Right. Krill oil is much easier utilized by the body. It actually gets right to the cells a lot easier. Okay. So you need a third of the dosage.
Wow.
For you're saying krill oil?
Krill oil.
Interesting.
How do you spell
as
that?
long as you're not allergic to shellfish, Krill.
Krill oil. Interesting.
Not krill.
No.
All right. It's been.
Is it just as expensive as fish oil?
It's actually more expensive when you look at the small bottle.
Yeah.
But the amount you're going to use evens out.
I got you. Yeah, because sometimes you have to take a couple different
teaspoons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So. Times that, yeah. So interesting.
I'm a big fan of putting less in to get more done.
Correct.
In the body. Right. And over the years, man, I spent more time getting people off of the 20 different supplements that they're on to bring it down, narrow it down to, a couple.
Okay, general maintenance. You go krill oil, you go a daily supplement, I'm assuming.
I'm not worried about a multi.
Really?
Yeah.
See, because I've been taking multis for probably 20
If your
years
diet
plus.
is crap and you just on the go, you don't actually have, then go ahead, do a multi.
Okay,
I'm
taking a multi.
All right, I would rather.
I gotta be honest with myself.
No, and that's it. And that's really the reason why. If your energy's down, your immunity's down, you're not eating as well, go ahead, do a multi.
Okay.
All right.
What
if
else
not,
do you put on that list because I don't like
magnesium. I think that magnesium is
don't
crucial.
You take that at night before when you're.
Doesn't matter. You can. It depends on if you're working out through the day and you're all tense and tight, stressed out. You can do it day and night.
I was always told magnesium
at night because it calms you down, sleep exactly. Yeah, and that's the one. If you're only taking it once, good enough.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. The number one thing people are lacking: protein.
Really? Yeah. And how do you get that?
Outside of us
eating properly.
Yeah, outside of eating properly, you got protein powders, you got pills. You know what? I think the protein is the number one thing people are lacking. That's their immunity, their nervous system, and of course their muscles. Right, healing. Right. It's just not there in the way the body needs it.
Right. So you take a protein shake.
You can take a protein shake. You can get, as I said, there's pills. There's those amino acids you're looking for. Yeah. So protein shake is easiest for most people. Yeah. I would say that taking a protein shake with the greens in it.
Yes, I've seen those many times.
Surpasses a multi.
Yes.
And that is breakfast for the people that are on the go.
Yeah.
All right. A smoothie.
I used to be pretty religious.
Yeah.
I've seen that the green stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And it mixes with protein.
I've seen the green separate and the protein separate.
You can get them together. You can get them together. You can get them together now.
Interesting. Yeah. I always wondered, because I don't like to go, okay, this.
No,
I don't. 15 pills.
It is, and that's crazy. Unless there's something major therapeutic you need.
Yeah.
Different story. Maintenance should only be 2 or 3 things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No. You're talking to a guy that doesn't take anything on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I talk about it all day long. I don't take anything on a regular basis. I can't.
Well, you probably eat very well.
No, it's just I'm a lazy ass. I am. We're not on the air, are we? Actually, I tell people straight up. I don't take anything on a regular basis.
No, but if you.
20 seconds.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you are, wouldn't you be taking your daily?
Yeah.
Or wouldn't you be taking your oil?
I'm one of those that if something happens, get sick or whatever, everything under the sun.
Okay. But why wouldn't you just do it all the time?
Laziness.
But see, I don't take a ton of stuff, although
Compliance
I said
is hard.
some of the joint relief has been just
Yeah.
unbelievable. And now
The boys are back in town. You're listening to Raw Mike Richards, brought to you by Bell Lifestyle Products on Newstalk Saga 960. And now, from the Bell Lifestyle Studio, here's Mike and Dave.
842 Newstalk Saga 960 Raw. Mike Richards. We have a lot of questions. We were talking about the area of prostate symptoms and what we can do. Now, for those watching on Twitch, you would have heard a conversation about supplements, protein, what you can have for breakfast. Now, I know that there is, that protein, like a protein shake you could have with like greens in it.
Correct.
So you can go that way. Where I went, mimosa. Champagne and orange juice. So it's I'm on the Robin Leach diet.
Close enough.
So it's a little bit different.
Missing a couple of nutrients in there, that's all.
Or as Doug saw the other day when he treated us to breakfast with Tim, you went with milkshake.
Yeah.
Chocolate milk.
Yeah,
Milkshake and bacon. Hey, I'm still here.
Still a shake, right?
I'm still here. Here's HUD. So just before we get to the question of prostate, this is kind of an interesting question because it needs to be clarified a little bit on what people think and how men think. It's a not very honest question. He said, is 50 still the number for getting checked? I had a colonoscopy at 45 and was told it was good to come in earlier. I should ask my doctor when I should get rechecked. So we're talking, obviously that's the colonoscopy. We're talking about the colon. This is prostate. Is there any sort of, not doing two things at once? How does that work once you get into the age of 40, 45, 50? What is the test that we're really talking about? Because I believe they're two different things.
I'm assuming we're talking about BPH enlargement again, okay?
Well, his thing was a colonoscopy.
Colon, okay.
Right.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really, it's whatever you are experiencing in family history that dictates when you're going to go to the doctor. And if you're going to the doctor on a regular basis, the doctor will know and tell you, okay, it's time to do it. My first prostate test was 2 years ago at 48. All right. Doctor said, get on the table. Let's do this. You're here for a physical?
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
There's no magic number. It's really about, are there symptoms and is there family history that you want to address? All right. Again, there's people who won't go to the doctor for 5 years and it'll be 55, 60 before they get it done. That's up to them. But really, there's no magic number for any testing. I love the medical system for the tests that they can do and tell you what's going on. Or what isn't, one of the two, all right? Use it for that purpose, all right? And use it at whatever age you're comfortable.
Yeah.
I can, forget about that. I'll tell you about cardiology, for example, all right? My family history is heart disease and diabetes, blessed really nicely, all right? I told my doctor I want to go see a cardiologist, and I wasn't even 50. This is at 45.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't send me there. I said, listen, man, I need to go.
Yeah.
I already know which cardiologist I'm going to go to. All right. So then he worked it out, and I went to a cardiologist. Why would I be going to a cardiologist? All right. There's no reason. But I just wanted to make sure because the family history, I'm early. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Really is what it comes
It's
down
funny
to.
you say the comfort level of what you want and your around surroundings. So he goes down with his cancer and that. Within, 6 months, I go in because at age 42, I wanted to check out my colon too. And the doctors sat there and said, you're much too young to be here. And I'm like, you know what? My comfort level is I want to know yes or no.
That's it. I think that's absolutely right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I knew there was nothing wrong with my heart at 45, but I wanted to go and make sure there was nothing wrong with my
Bingo.
heart. That's it.
Bingo. And that's what it was.
All right.
So just leading up to this, so we were getting to the point of the important part, which was symptoms.
Yes.
So what are men looking for? What should they be looking for, and kind of what are we talking about here in terms of symptoms?
All right, and they can range. It's a mild stuff to really irritating and affecting your lifestyle. All right, difficulty passing urine is the number one thing. When we're young, we just stand there, go, it's pretty good. But now, as we age, we're having a tougher time. We're standing there longer. We're taking more time. It's coming out in little squirts. All right, that's actually your number one symptom. All right. More frequent urination. You're going more often. Now, it could be during the day. And what most people notice is at nighttime. All right. There's really no reason why it's at nighttime other than the fact that usually the bladder gets stiffer. All right, gets full. Now you're feeling the pressure. You got to go more often because the prostate is already pushing on the bladder. So you got less space in that bag. So now you got to go more often to empty it out, but you're not going fully either. So there's some left. So that's why you get the dribbling, you get the increased frequency, and you're getting up more often to go. And that really affects your lifestyle. If you can't sleep, you're not going to function the next day, right? So that's a big problem. The other thing is, you can get, and there's certain people who will get incontinence, so they can't control the bladder.
Right.
So there's leakage. Now, this happens actually with women more than men in most cases. And oddly enough, I know it hasn't been mentioned on this show, but Bal actually has, I think, one of the best products for women. All right?
No,
it's
it has not been mentioned.
Bladder Control T. And for incontinence, if you just can't hold it in much, the muscles get weaker. Mm-hmm. So you can't hold it as much. Bladder Control T for women does what the Prostate Easy Flow T does for men.
Gotcha.
So there is for
the
both.
equivalent.
Yes, the equivalent there is for that. So, and that's that, where you just can't control it. Now, day like today, sitting in traffic, you're watching that Google Maps and it's going up and down, time just keeps going up. You're holding it more, all right? And so you're going to need something like this. So those are your main symptoms. All right. And then, of course, the pressure overall, there could be pain, but you can lead into infections. If you're holding the urine in, it's not going through, there's infections involved. You can get bacterial infections in the bladder, urinary tract infections. And if they're not controlled, you can go up to the kidney, which then becomes really painful.
Right, now
now we're talking real issues. Normally, BPH does not lead to a cancer state. It's just enlargement, extra growth, but it's not cancerous growth. So it's rare for that to happen.
I think that's really important, what you just said, because people are just assuming before you got to that, like I did, this is a path down towards what will eventually be cancer. You're saying, no, it's not.
It's rare that if that's all it is. Now, there's other testing you do, all right, PSA levels, and then you can do blood work and so on that will indicate if you are headed that way.
Now, before we leave the PSAs, because I had done years ago where I think you wanted it under 4. Is that correct? Like a 2 in change?
In essence, any number greater than 0 is not a good thing, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. 2 is a rough number that, you can cut off, and if it's going higher than that, we got issues that we really got to investigate.
And it's the trend that you're looking for.
Trend, so exactly.
You do the test year after year.
Yeah, so don't do it once and leave it alone.
No, exactly. You could be sitting at 2 for 10 years, and without any symptoms, with anything else, that's fine. But normally, hey, listen, if we can have it closer to 0, all the better. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
And that's more so on the cancer side. Again, we're not here to talk about that, but it is an issue of concern for people. So you got to watch out for all that too.
You touched on this a little bit. So on the Bal Lifestyle products, bellifestyleproducts.com, you have the Easy Flow tea for men, but in the same category, you also have the Kidney Cleanse and Function tea. You talked about the kidney and how you don't want it to get involved with that. How does that help our situation, or is it something that is kind of at another level and we're opening up another box, so to speak?
It's actually something different. This is really, the kidneys are involved with so much more filtration of all our metabolic junk and inflammation.
Yeah.
All right. The liver is involved and the kidneys are involved. So this is about flow through the kidneys in general to help support your diuretic state and making sure nothing is sticking around. People who are getting swelling, edema, things like that too. But it would be something that, hey, if you were on antibiotics due to an infection, so on, maybe it's something you want to do at some point.
Gotcha.
All right. I think that there's actually more important to do. Remember we in the break, but if it was on Twitch,
yes,
they would have they would have talked about greens.
Yes.
Greens is something that as a lifestyle thing is great to do because it alkalizes our body, gets rid of the acidity in our tissues.
Now, when you say greens, just
green supplements, as in so supplementation, chlorella-based greens. Chlorophyll, spirulina, and all barley grass, things like that. They're great for alkalize the body. That's actually going to help prevent majority of our issues that we're talking about. All right, so it's good to do.
The tea itself, then, so the actual product, what does it alleviate? What does it do?
This tea is a bulk tea, first of all. It's got 12 different herbs in it, all associated with the urinary system and prostate health. So what are we talking about? Helping decrease the frequency that people are getting up and going. Helping with the proper flow, so getting that stream back. All right, avoiding any incontinence, trying to decrease people from getting up at night, so it's not affecting their daytime routine and the energy and be able to do what they need to do. That's really what we're trying to do. The symptoms of BPH, we're trying to alleviate those by putting in these well-known herbs. All right, you can read the literature on these, and there's some studies on dosages of these herbs that you can go up and look. All right, and we're talking about herbs that are going to deal with the prostate hormonal side. Remember, we said there's a hormonal issue, right? Mm-hmm. Improper conversion of testosterone to DHT. All right, so there's an enzyme involved that's actually creating that. So we're trying to inhibit that enzyme so the enlargement isn't happening. All right, so there's herbs for that, like the saw palmetto, the stinging nettle. Those are crucial for trying to work on that. But then you got anti-inflammatory herbs. You got relaxant herbs, because if you're putting pressure on the bladder and the bladder isn't able to, it's supposed to expand. It's like a balloon. But as we age, if it's getting smaller and smaller and it's not expanding, you got to run off to the toilet, to wash them again. And so we're trying to help with the relaxant of the bladder too. So anti-inflammatory stuff, we're talking relaxants, pain relief, and obviously flow.
Right. Now, just getting a question about that on online here. Sorry, they're listening in. Thank you for listening in. By the way, here's the question: as far as the Easy Flow tea, doesn't have any symptoms for it. Could they still take it as a preventative towards something that could happen later on the line?
You know what? Any supplementation you do, there is what we call a maintenance dosage and a therapeutic dosage.
Okay.
All right. So therapeutically, we're talking about 2 or 3 cups of this tea daily, if you got all these symptoms and you need to get it under control.
So that's the therapeutic
dosage.
Right.
Maintenance. There's no reason why, when, again, you're hitting that 50, 60, even though you're going to come up with these symptoms, doing a cup a day to help with the flow, diuretic effect, making sure everything's moving along, preventing any infections, because that cranberry is used for UTIs.
Yep.
All right. So helping prevent majority of that stuff. Excellent.
Cool.
All right. There's no harm in that. And you know what? They could be doing it once a day. They could be doing it once a week if that's all they need to do as a maintenance. No harm.
No harm. Okay. Well, thanks to Corey for that question.
And if you don't want to go through, making a cup a day, what a lot of people do is they'll brew a batch, several cups, and you throw it in the fridge and you drink it cold like an iced tea.
Oh, see, I didn't even think that was
there even. But only that. Don't add anything to it.
Well,
no, don't add anything to it.
I've got some ideas on that. Can you get can I make one of them sort of a bladder Long Island iced tea? Is that
easy Long Island?
So you're trying to control the flow, but also increase the flow.
Correct. This is the yin and yang of what I do. This is the magic of the show. By the way, Bal, thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, this was fantastic.
It's a pleasure.
You are welcome anytime.
I got to tell you why I'm here first. I didn't even tell anybody why I'm here.
Yeah.
I got a call from Sanjeev. I think his name was been mentioned.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Sanjeev at Nature Source. I don't know. I think he just chickened out on me. All right. And he called me up and said, I need you to go do this. And I'm going, I don't know about this. It's radio.
No. This is brilliant.
But I said, all right. And so Sanjeev, I've worked with Sanjeev for almost 20 years at Nature Source.
Wow.
And that's, so we know we can get it at Nature Source. There's the
Which
Oakville.
location?
So there's Oakville, Mississauga, and Etobicoke.
Very good.
All right. So any of those locations. And does Nature Signatures carry those too?
Yes. I think
okay. So all the Nature Signatures that are in some of the metros, there's about 5 or 6 of those. Okay. They will also have. So thanks to Sanjeev for chickening out and having me out here. All right.
No, I hope he chickens out again.
Maybe he's brewing up a batch right now at home, for all we know. So no, he's actually going to be going off to Vancouver, I think it is, for his show. So
very good.
All right.
Well, did a great job. Welcome anytime. You can actually put up with us, so that's a check mark. It's a big check mark.
I'm surprised you put up with me.
No, did a great job.